Okay, so welcome everyone. There's a lot of new people here today, which is great. If you are watching this in the community and you've got any questions that come up, feel free to put those in the comments, and I will get to answering those when I can. But welcome, all right? So what I'm going to be doing in this training is going through how to create a 90-day plan. All right. So I'm going to be looking at how you can map out your 90-day plan. We were in January, it's January 12th. The 12 days in already, all right, and into the first quarter of the year. And you are in this space because you're a practitioner and you are looking to either build or scale your online business, right? And so that's what I want to help you with. And so I want to give you some tips and tricks in terms of what you should be considering as you move forward to getting this 90-day plan together so you can have a lot of focus and clear intentions and some progress and all of that stuff as you move forward. Okay, so that's what I've got in store for you, which is great because next week I'm hosting the Position, Price and Promote Challenge. Okay, so that's my 5-day business workshop. Right. And so that 5-day business workshop will start next week. If you haven't registered, you can go ahead and register. All right. You may be watching this in our community, or you're also welcome to jump in and watch us in the Zoom room as well. It's entirely up to you. All right. But that's what I'm going to be diving into is 90-day vision, 90-day plan. Okay. So first things first is what needs to be considered as you do your 90-day plan is your vision for the year, right? I want you to lean in and think about, like, as I am celebrating in December 2024, which will come around quicker than we know it, right? Like when it comes to December 2024, what is it that I would like to be a non-negotiable, right, outcome that I've created? Yeah. So I want you to lean in terms of, like, if I was to really like close my eyes and breathe in and breathe out and really lean into December 2024, what is it that I am deciding that I'm creating for this year? Right. And I want you to lean forward and set that intention. Now, for some people, sometimes, like, I was speaking to our clients about this earlier this week. Some people find it really easy to kind of lean forward into that 12 months. And some people find it like, oh, that feels so far ahead, right? Like, can I like lean into the summer, right? Or can I lean into another month? That's absolutely fine. We're going to come back to doing a 90-day plan, right? And I like to look at the 90-day plans as almost like 4 years in one, right? Every 90 days is an opportunity for a new quarter, and a quarter you can accomplish so months. Literally, when I started Dr. Tilean, I did it within a 90-day window. So I don't pluck this number out of the thin air for you to be able to say, oh, okay, like, let's just get started. But no, you can actually move your business through to a whole new level, even if you've not even started it yet, in a 90-day window. Okay. And so if you are finding it hard to think forward in terms of like December 2024, what is it? What is a non-negotiable for me? Then think about another point of the year that really matters to you. Maybe it's a birthday this year. Maybe it's, one of my clients is like, loves summer and is also in the UK and is like, I just love summer. I'm going to think of summer, what I want to accomplish when it's summertime, right? Pick a date, a tangible date or a tangible event that's going to happen this year so that you can hook to that event an outcome, a non-negotiable outcome for you. All right. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want you to vision cast, right? I want you to be able to cast a vision and have an image of success. Right? I want you to be able to think forward and think of that day and imagine like how life is. Imagine what has shown up for you. Imagine that non-negotiable target that you set for yourself has come true, and how are you living? How is life? So you can really think and like imagine it. So if I take the example of my client who absolutely loves summer, right? Is like all for summer, you know, like yes, yes, yes. And she's able to paint a clear picture of like, Tilean, this summer when I'm lying out in my garden on the sunbed, right? I imagine at that stage, this is what my business looks like. This is what I've accomplished. This is the clients I'm working, these are the clients I'm working with. This is, you know, what's happened, right? And so she's able to create a real vivid image in her mind of what she's accomplished. And this is very, very important because visualization is literally what's going to help your mind, your actions, everything, like move you forward in that direction. And sometimes people find it hard to visualize. And I feel like that it can become easier when we start to really pick a date and we can visualize and we can anchor our vision onto it. And so for some of you, it might be New Year's Eve. You're like, yeah, New Year's Eve, I want to imagine this, right? It might be Christmas Day. You know, we're just coming over that season. It might be a birthday, like I said, it might be a season, right, that you are imagining. But I want you to be able to paint a vivid picture. And this is important before we even start thinking about a 90-day plan, right? Before we start even thinking about, like, you know, what goes into the first quarter, where are the actions, is because I want you to forward think in terms of what is that non-negotiable for you, right? So that we can go backwards, right? We can go backwards and be like, okay, this is where the focus needs to be. This is what needs to happen. Okay. So that's why I talk about the importance of vision. The other thing I want to mention before I go into the nitty gritty of a 90-day plan is I really want to ensure that people understand the importance of leaning into the vision daily, right? Of creating a practice of not just doing this visualization exercise now, right? Or whenever you see this video, right? But doing the visualization exercise daily. And here's what I want to give you as in a piece of advice or a tip or like a, you know, a hack in a sense of being able to do that, because I don't want you to feel like, oh, here we go, another thing that I'm gonna have to tick off on my to-do list to do in my day to make me a better me or whatever, right? And you don't go ahead and do it, right? And so I'm going to give you a little hack in terms of how I want to support you to lean into vision every day. Why are you leaning into vision every day? Is because the vision is going to act as your anchor. It's going to act as your sat nav. It's like, this is where I'm heading. And so that your mind can get on board in terms of this is where you're heading. Your energy can get on board in terms of this is where you're heading. Your thoughts, everything we can put in that direction of this is where you are aiming to head for. Right. And so that is why we are doing it. And if you're doing it daily, you're realigning that thought daily, 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 daily. All right. It's all of these, like every day as you think of your vision, you're actually, what you focus on expands, right? The reticular activating system is going to pull to you, right, what you need to see to help you move in that direction. So you're supporting yourself in executing what you need to do. So how do you build that habit where you do it every single day, right? So first things first is I would like you to anchor the action of visualization, even if it's for 60 seconds. It doesn't have to be like, you know, spend an hour, like, you know, visualizing this thing. Yeah. Like 60 seconds, even 60 seconds every day to just spend time in the vision of like, yes, right. Imagining it. Like I'm going to call forth that client. I spoke about it, like seeing herself on the sunbed, seeing herself of what she's created, seeing herself of what she's done. She's able to visualize that. Right. I want you to be able to do that same thing, right? For whatever your vision is for you every day for 60 seconds. And I want you to anchor the practice of visualization onto something that you already do every single day. There is something that you already do every single day, whether that is having a shower or a bath or something, whether that is having your cup of tea and boiling the kettle, right? Whether that is getting in your car to commute to wherever, right? Or drop the children to school or whatever that is, right? Before you drive off, you get in your car, you just sit there and you spend 60 seconds and you lean into your vision, right? If that works for you, right? if you're on the toilet every single day, right? There's one of those times when you're on the toilet, use that as your practice of visualization, right? If you're boiling the kettle, when you boil the kettle, you visualize. When the water hits your skin in the shower, you visualize, right? Just choose one, whatever. I'm just giving a few different ideas of what you could anchor it on. If you're a person that goes for a daily walk, right? It could be that. Yeah. So just allow yourself to think of something that you already do, right? So it doesn't feel like, okay, I've got to do another thing. You already do the thing, right? Whether it's showering, have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, drive the car, go for the walk, right? Use the toilet, whatever it is, wash your hands, right? You want to create an association. Yeah, you want to create that loop in your mind of an association of actually, when I do this thing, I think of my vision. When I do this thing, I think of my vision. When I do this thing, I think of my vision, right? And you're going to give yourself a better chance of actually getting into a habit of daily visualizing by creating that loop of association. All right. So there's a tip and a trick or hack, however you want to term it, in terms of being able to create that visualization, because that's going to act as your sat nav. That's going to act as your guiding point in terms of the direction you are going. Okay. So part of that vision, I would like you to think about your business and where it is, right? And I would like you to think about the revenue you have generated in this business, right? And I'm talking about your online business, like your new business. I know some people come across me and they already have a business and then they're creating this on the side, or they have a job and they're creating this on the side, you know, or they might be already doing this full time, their online business, right? Look at it and see, like, where do I want my revenue? And why do I talk about this? It's very important because without revenue, there is no business, right? You know, so if you're creating an online business, it requires to be revenue generating. Okay. And so you have to think about that in terms of, okay, where would I like the business revenue to be at that time point in the vision? And then we're going to turn that vision, that number, if you're able to, and if you're not able to do the next part right now, when I talk about changing that number into how many lives you've impacted, like, you know, and what that looks like tangibly into a number, because that's what it means. Like, your revenue equals the services that you offer and what people have invested in, right? That's going to give you an understanding of, okay, like X number of people I would have served through my services will equal that revenue, right? That's what I want you to be able to attach your number, your revenue generating number to, right? So it's really tangible and practical. Yeah. And how you will do that is you'll be able to insert the level of your product, right? Like, what's the cost point of your service, and you'll be able to insert that in and be able to figure out a few numbers there, right? And why I'm saying some of you may not even be able to do that part yet is because maybe some of you have come across me because you're getting ready to get involved in the Position, Price and Promote challenge happening next week, which is where I'm going to show you how to position yourself in an online business, how to price, like what your offer would be, how you can price your offer. I'm going to take you through all those steps next week. And so then you'll be able to see what your offer would be, where your price point would be, and you'll be able to map that out a little bit more. But that's what you want to be able to do, is be able to insert that number into the revenue target to be able to see, okay, this is how many people I'm going to have as clients this year, right? Then you can break that down into what that looks like for those 4 quarters of the year, right? Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. Yeah. And maybe it goes up throughout the year, right? In terms of what quarter 1 looks like, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, depending on where your business is right now. Okay. But you want to be able to look at that part of your vision as well. And I say that because many practitioners, right, we are like natural born helpers, healers, love, like, you know, like money's the last thing that is even thought about, if at all, for some people, right? And so I want you to bring it to the forefront and attach that to knowing that actually this is a business I'm creating, right? It's a revenue generating business. And so this is what it looks like. This is what my offers is. This is what my pricing is. And this is how many people I'm going to serve with that. Okay, so be looking at that. All right. So that's the first point. So now what you next want to be able to do is really have an honest assessment of your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and threats, right? What am I referring to? A SWOT analysis, right? That word may feel like a swear word to some people, right? They're like, you don't like it. And some people are like, oh yeah, I know in business, this is something that I must do in order to assess how I'm going to move forward and obtain the outcome, the goal that I've set for myself, right? And bring that vision into reality. Yeah. And so what I would like for you to be able to do, right? And this is this 90-day plan, right? This is what I do within my business. This is what I as well have been talking with my clients with, as well as we in January season as well. So, I'm not holding anything back here, right? Or asking you to do anything that I wouldn't, right? But I want you to be able to sit down and be able to look at, okay, this is the vision that I have for the year, right? This is what it looks like, right? And this is what I'm making a non-negotiable, yeah. And this is what it looks like revenue wise, right? And now I'm going to write out what strengths I have that put me in alignment with what I'm creating. What strengths, right? So let me give you an example of things that you might incorporate here. This may be your strengths of what who you are as a practitioner, right? Maybe you don't even have an offer yet, right? Maybe you're like, Tilean, I've got this idea of my vision, but I'm brand new. I don't even have my offer yet. Like, I've just met you and I want to create my offer next week. That's why I'm here, right? Maybe that's you, or maybe you do already have your offer idea, and you are in a space where you're like, okay, I'm clear on my offer. I'm clear on my price point of my offer. I know this is exactly what God's called me forward to create and do, right, in my life, right? So these are strengths, right? Your strengths are, yeah, I know my offer. I know the price point. I know this is exactly what God's called me to do, right? I know this is exactly where my soul is leading me. This is exactly what I want to be doing. That is a strength, right? In understanding, okay, this is what balances me there. I know that if I put my mind to it and I roll up my sleeves, I get things done. Maybe you know that about you. That can be listed as a strength, right? Under your strengths, right? What else do you know? I know maybe you have people that have already told you you're great at helping people in such and such a way, right? That could be a strength about it, right? So you've got to be able to list what things do you know that are true to you that make this like a strong ability for you to be able to accomplish, right? Maybe you've done something before that you didn't think you could do. For many of us, becoming even a practitioner, the practitioner you are today, right? When you started, you was like, oh my God, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? And like you went on this long journey of studying and working, and then you became that. You became that nutritionist. You became that psychologist. You became that doctor, that pharmacist, that social worker, right? And so you know within yourself that if you apply yourself and you learn, right? And you do the thing, you get the result, right? That is a strength. So you can lean into what you know about yourself, of what do I know about myself that operates as a strength to me being able to accomplish what I put down in my vision, right? I know I mentioned about vision and anchoring into that vision every day, visualizing it and just imagining it and seeing that in your mind, like visualizing it. To begin with, you might want to write it out if you are somebody that likes to write, but you don't have to, okay? Right? That's just something that just popped in my head that I should share. But so you want to write out your strengths, like record, what are my strengths related to this? What are my strengths within me? What do I know about me? What do I know about myself? What do I know about my God-given calling? What do I know about like my next, right? That's what comes under strength. Yeah. There might be other things under your strengths, right? Like whatever, but you can expand that out as much as you want. Yeah. Now, weaknesses. I don't even really like the term weaknesses. I'm just going with the whole SWOT term, right? Because, that's what many people will be able to relate to. But I like to turn that into like your growth edges. What are your growth edges? Where do you need to grow, right? Where are there are edges of you that are always growing and expanding in all of us. We've all got growth edges, and we'll have them forever and ever and ever until, our time comes to depart to where next, right? But what is that growth edge that you are going to need to be aware of as you move forward, right? In terms of like, okay, I need to learn about marketing, right? Like if you are going to have an online business, you need to be seen, right? So I need to understand marketing, right? Growth ed. I need to, maybe some of you, it's a weakness. I don't know what my offer is. I don't know what my price point is. I don't know who my audience is, right? Maybe these are things like you just need to identify what it is you need to know, what it is you need to learn, what it is you need to hone in on so that you can obtain the result, right? And why we're doing this is because awareness is the first step in behavior change, in any behavior change, even building a business and scaling a business, right? And so you have to have a level of awareness, right? In terms of this is where I'm strong, and this is where I'm like growing. I need to grow, I need to learn, right? I'm weaker, right? I'm weak at the muscle, right? The weakness is like the muscle is not built yet as well. That's all it means, right? So maybe there's a weakness, like there's that muscle is not built. Yeah, so it's a weaker muscle there, but it can be built, right? We can build muscle in any area. Yeah. So, you can learn in any area, but you need to be aware of those, and you need to be true to yourself in terms of if I'm going to go ahead and gain that result, what do I need to know that I don't already know? And then there's that point of course, you only know what you only know, right? So you don't know what you don't know, but there is a level of being able to understand, okay, and the basic principles of building a business is knowing, it's clarity, right? Then like, that findability, the marketing piece, sales piece, right? Systems, operations. Yeah. So those pieces, you can be able to look at it in terms of where you're at. All right. That's what I mean by that. Okay. Opportunities, the O, right? The opportunities area element of this is you're going to look at, okay, what is it that I want to accomplish, right? What is it I want to accomplish this year, right? I know my strengths, right? I know my strengths. I know the areas I need to grow muscle. I know the areas I need to learn. I know the areas I need to, develop to grow in, right? What opportunities exist that are going to help me with that I'm aware of, right? Because like I said, when you plant the vision, right, you will see what you need to see, right? When the student's ready, the teacher appears, right? You guys have heard that saying, right? So the opportunity of developing the muscle is there, right? Some of you are in this room because the opportunity of learning next week, that 5-day business building workshop, right? Where I'm going to teach you how to position yourself online, how to price yourself online, what your offer can be, right? And how to promote online, all of those elements, right? That's an opportunity, right? This is literally what I'm delivering next week. Is something I used to charge for, right? I could well be charging it for, right? So it's like literally like that's an opportunity. What other opportunities are there that can help you strengthen that muscle, right? The muscles that you need to strengthen in whether it's marketing and whether it's clarity and whatever the areas of growth edge, right? It may be a coach or mentor. It may be a course or program. It may be book or resource or books or resources. It may be events, right? There's so many different opportunities everywhere. Opportunities everywhere. Make that, like everything is there. Once you open your eyes to see it, you will see it, right? Yeah. When you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change, right? So like literally once you give yourself the ability to say, actually, this is my non-negotiable, this is what I'm creating this year, right? And you start to think of why you feel like you're aligned with that in a strong way, and you start to be really truthful and be like, okay, these are my areas of weakness, this is where the muscle needs to develop, these are my growth edge areas, then you start to see opportunity, right? So what is threat? Okay, so the threat component is often yourself, right? How could I get in my own way of making this happen? What thoughts, right? What situations may be occurring? Like, what is there that may like, like make me stumble? Like, right? Like, I'm here. I know the vision. This is a non-negotiable. I know the strengths. I know like why I'm aligned to this. I know like what I believe in myself, right? Like the great strong parts. But I also know I've got a fear of visibility, right? I also know I've got a fear of this. I also know that maybe there's a challenge, right? So maybe it's not a threat, right? It's quite a strong word, in this SWOT aspect, right? But maybe it's like a challenge of like, oh, like this is gonna be challenging here. Yeah, in terms of like, how do I manage my time as I do this? Right? How do I manage my energy as I do this? Right? How do I manage my thoughts as I do this? How do I manage, right? So you want to be able to think about like what are the circumstances or internally and externally that may pose as a threat towards you obtaining the outcome, right? And again, it comes back to awareness. If you've got awareness, you're able to build systems and structures and boundaries and things like that around it to give you the best possible chance to go where you need to go. But if you bury your head in the sands and you don't do this aspect when you are creating your 90-day vision, right, you're setting yourself with a level of false hope syndrome, right, which is literally like, yeah, like I'm going for it, I'm affirming for it, and I'm not being clear with myself on what do I need to learn, what do I need to know, right, who do I need to talk to, like what do I need to read, right? You need to put yourself in that level of awareness of like, this is what needs to happen, and this is what I need to support myself with to give myself the best possible chance of this, right? Okay, so it's very, very important of being able to do this, because then you can, when you do the action plan, which is what I'm going to talk about next, you're able to utilize that in your action plan. Okay, so you're able to immerse these things into the plan of action. So what does the plan of action look like now? Your plan of action for 90 days, it can be broken down into weeks, right? It can be broken down into months. Yeah, right. So you can look at January, February, March, right? What's there left of January? I think was that just over 2 weeks, maybe. Yeah. We were at leap year, so we've got an extra day, in February, right? So you can break it down into the January, February, March. You can also break those down into the weeks. All right. But if you look top level first in terms of January here, February here, March here, right? So you've broken your year down into quarter. So that year target of revenue is broken down into quarters, right? Okay. Now, if you are just started your business, right? If you are like literally like, Tilean, I have nothing done, nothing, like what is the like where could I get to? Right, it really depends on like how much time you got to put in, you're willing to put in energy, like determination to get where you're going, right? But like I said, like I started my business with within a 90-day window. It took me 7 weeks and 4 days, right, to get together to put myself out there and obtain my first client, right? So it can be done in that window. So you can decide on what that looks like in terms of where you are. Like everybody's at different levels in terms of their business and stuff like that, right? And that's me coming in with some level of understanding about business because of my history in terms of not just NHS charity sector, but also being immersed into corporate and being immersed into like a world where I knew how to package programs and things like that. So there's a lot of different factors, but a lot can, like, you can build your business in 90 days and get it out there. Okay. So you've got to look at, okay, what does quarter one look like for you? Right. If your business is already set up, maybe it's to scale, right? What does it look like? Or maybe it's to keep it steady at where it was for the last quarter because you want that consistency before you then scale, right? Decide on what that's going to look like. And then you can decide on your actions. So how do you decide on your actions? I would like for you to be able to recognize, once you know, okay, this is how many clients I'm going to have, or what the objective is for that quarter. You know, like what, when I get to the end of this quarter, what have I accomplished? Right. So we're done when I get to the end of the year, what have I accomplished? When I get to the end of the quarter, what have I accomplished? And how would I know I've accomplished it? And then what needs to happen if we rewind backwards, right? We reverse engineer that. What needs to happen in order for that to happen? Yeah. Does that make sense? Right. What needs to happen in order for that to happen? So if the goal is X number of clients, right? Then what needs to happen for X number of clients to be there, right? Now, if you're thinking about bringing people into a high value transformational offer, yeah, what would need to happen, I recommend, is to have conversations, right? We have conversations with anybody that comes into our programs because, number one, I protect the community and I want the right people in the community, and I want to make sure it's a fit for the person that's coming into the community. So conversations exist. So in order to have X number of people into the program, X number of conversations would need to happen. More conversations would need to happen than people in the program, right? Because there maybe somebody you have a conversation with, it's not right there and then, you know, that they're coming through. Like there's all sorts of things that can take place. And so you've got to be able to understand that accordingly, right? What needs to happen for me to have conversations, right? Well, then your most important activity would be activity that generates conversations, right? Well, I've got to be findable. I've got to build relationships, right? Put value out there. Let me have a little think. Is a little one there? Yeah. Yeah? Hold on. My little one's coming to join us, guys. Give me a second. Hi. Give me a second. All right, cool. Hello. Hey. So here we go. So yeah, so like you want to rewind and think like what needs to happen in order to generate conversations. Well, that would be your focus. If your outcome for that 3 months was for clients, right? And you obtain clients through conversations, right? Well, what would need to happen to generate conversations? Yeah. And I go into more detail on this on day 3 of next week's business workshop. All right. The position, price, and promote challenge, which starts next week. Okay. But that's really the steps here. All right. So that's where your focus need to be. If your outcome was like, I want to take my business from, I've never had, which, you know, some of our clients come to us, they have 0 website. They have 0 idea. They're like, even like, all I know is I'm a practitioner and I want to have an online business. I don't know what that online business would be. I got a few ideas. I've got many ideas, but I don't know which one to start with. I don't know where to take it. I don't know how to build a business. I'm like, you know, if you talk about technology, I don't even know what that means, right? If that's you and you're coming from that space, right? It may be that in the 3-month period, your outcome is like, what would be an amazing out of this world outcome for me would be to have everything set up. And that's totally doable. Yeah. And so then you would work backwards in terms of, well, what would need to happen? Now, if you are registering for the position, price, and promote challenge, as I give you a 30-point business building checklist, right? So you just work through that checklist and you can break that down into weeks and things like that, right? You know, if you end up, you know, our clients, like I tell them week 1, week 2, like we break it down and things like that, right? So you can do that and have a real focus for what has happened when. Yeah. So you can break down it into that way. That's what would happen, isn't it? Yeah. You agree? I agree. All right. So that's where you would look at what your actions are. So what's the next step after you do the actions? You've got all your beautiful actions there on your paper. You've done your vision, you've done your SWOT, you've got all this of actions. You've narrowed those actions into what are the most important actions. Where's my focus need to be, right? If I was to choose 3 things, or 1 to 3 things, 3 things maximum of what I would be focusing on, right? What would they be? Okay, so that I don't fall into the trap of procrastination or procrastinating or all of that stuff, right? And I don't move forward. Okay. What would those be? This is very, very important. You know, one of the things I do for my clients, we had a co-working session today, right? Is where you come and like you literally bring in like, what's your one thing? And we sit down and we're there for a couple of hours and people are doing their work and they're like, yes, I did it. Because it would have been so easy to just go and do the laundry, even though I didn't want to do the laundry, right? And so, you know, like having those 1 to 3 things that you're focusing on will enable you to get things done, right? And that's what I would like you to do. So from that step, you are going to then pull out your calendar, pull out your diary, right? Like if you use an online calendar, use that. If you don't use a calendar or diary, start using it. You're building an online business, you're going to need to use one, right? So if you're using a paper diary, whatever suits you, paper, online, whatever, right now, just pull out your diary and schedule in your tasks. Get serious with yourself. If you have something in your diary, if you have something in your phone as a reminder, it often gets done because when it's scheduled, it's real. So you want to make the things that you are going to make a priority for you this year in your calendar, right? And you've got to put your needs up there. Okay. Look after the most important person that matters. It's you, right? It's you first and foremost, even if you have children like me, right? Yeah, right? Even if you have a partner, any of that. Yeah, if you're not looking after yourself the best of possible way, how can you pour into them? Can you pour into your audience? How can you pour into anything else? Right? And so your needs matter. Yeah, of like, you know, and there's probably a why, bless you, darling. There's probably a why to why you're doing this anyway, right? So you want to pull that up to the forefront to keep you focused, and you want to get your calendar out and you want to bring that to the forefront. There may be in this quarter things that you say no to so you can say yes to yourself. Okay. I'm going to say that again. There may be things in this quarter, things that you say no to, so you say yes to yourself, right? Okay, so really get honest with yourself of like, okay, I don't want this I don't want this like January, like, yeah, in December, I'm going to be here, I'm going to be here, I'm going to be here. And then like, you know, you're going through the year, like flowing and like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Oh, you know, another year's gone. And before you know it, a decade's gone. Right? These years go quick, very quick. When you start breaking things down into quarters and you start breaking things down into months, right? And none of us know anyway whenever our last day is, right? So time is waiting for no one. So really like map it down and start saying yes to yourself, yes to your needs, yes to your opportunity, yes to your vision. Okay. And so you put it in your diary and you remain true to yourself. You remain true to your own word to yourself. Okay. So that's that. And then the last thing, and if there's any questions, I'll also look in the Facebook group if there's any questions posted there. If any of you want to post a question in here in the Zoom room, you're welcome to as well. But the last thing is around powerful thinking. What powerful thinking, what word is going to drive you forward, powerful phrase, powerful scripture, right? What are you going to lean into as you drive forward, right? What is that you take that, and I want you to put it up somewhere where you can see it. Yeah, put it up somewhere that you can see it every single day. Maybe it's a post-it note that is on your computer. Right? Maybe it's mirror pens. Mirror pens amazing, right? Mirror pens where you can like you can order them on Amazon, you know, and you can write on your mirror, right? The word or the phrase, right? That could be it, right? Like literally, but it could be a screensaver on your phone, right? If it's a word, it could be the password to log into your computer. What powerful thinking are you going to obtain? Are you going to lean into throughout the day? You're going to spark, remember, right? And put like little areas where you can see it often, yeah, to remind you of the direction you're going. Because 2024 is here and you get the chance to really go after what it is you want to create. But it starts by mapping out, it starts by getting clear on what that is. And then it starts by mapping out your 90-day quarter, right? And then you do it again 90 days from now. And then you do it again 90 days from now. And you do it again, and again and again and again, right? All right. And that's how you will guarantee you will see yourself 2, and in some cases 10x where you want to go. All right. I've seen it over and over and over again in the clients that I've served over the years that I've been helping them. I've been in this online world for 9 years. All right. So it's quite a long time in the online world. All right. Let me check if there's any questions that want to come in, or if anyone in the Zoom room wants to chat, you're more than welcome. I've got about 5 minutes and we can do that. Okay. I'm just checking. So there's nothing here. Let me check. All right. You all good? Everyone all good? Yeah. Helpful? Yeah. All right. So please, all right, don't let this stay as information. Let it lean into transformation. So take what you've heard today. Already, the first thing to put in your diary is a time when you're going to sit out and do the work that I've just set, right? Just carve out an hour. Yeah. And make that promise to yourself, right? So carve out an hour of when you're going to do it. Maybe it's right away if you've got that time. Maybe it's not, right? But get your diary out right now and look at it and be like, this is when I'm going to do my 90-day plan for me. Okay. We're getting started next week, Monday, 12 p.m. I believe it is, every single day, UK time. Position, price, and promote challenge. If you need to register, the link is, I'll put that in the group as well, and I'll put that in the chat as well for anyone here if you want to register for that. But it will be life transforming, and that's not just me saying it, that's other people saying it as well. Okay, but I'm gonna get off to see my bubbers and have a good evening. But it's been fun sharing it with you. Thank you for those of you that join live, and for those of you that want the replay, it will be up in the Facebook group, The Abundant Practitioner. Okay, so take care, darlings. Bye, everyone. Bye.